really, if we look at it first, what is an apprenticeship, Ryan? If you can sort of help those, what's it all about?
Yeah, so it's a work-based program. They're designed around the needs of both the employers and the learners, which offers training and qualifications to new or existing employees that are taking on new roles and that require some substantial training and development. They might be new to the industry, or they might be long-term in the industry, but have taken on a new role that they need some support with.
Okay, and also sort of to support that, what I would say as well is that the work-based learning model is something that's evolving, and really the advice would be to speak to your regional college and see what their models of delivery are. But essentially, something that would be helpful around, in terms of jargon busting, and we talk about the different levels of qualifications. So maybe could you just help step us through, level 2 and the level 3, and also now in the higher level apprentice space that is an offer across the colleges?
Yeah, well, I think as we spoke about there about sort of new employees, the level 2, there's quite a range within the level 2. It gives us the opportunity to give everyone the training that they need. So there will be different levels in terms of food and beverage, hospitality services, front of house reception, and then even in the team leading and customer service. That would sort of support them in the new roles and progressing through the business. The next level is a bit more tailored to their leadership skills. So it's a level 3 hospitality supervision and leadership course, and it's directed towards people that are either supervisors or looking to go down that path and move into that role. The next part would be then, they could move on to the level 4, level 5 higher apprenticeship, which then requires them to come into the college and to one of the colleges for a day per week.
Yep, and it's great. I know our colleague Mark Rice is the hub manager, has been working very closely to develop that and partnership with other colleges to offer out across the region. So really, for employers, there's a huge breadth and depth of opportunity, but fundamental to it all is what I would just say, it's an employed pathway. So that's what we have to bear in mind. It's the role that the employer has to play is critical, and the role that they have to play is providing the roles that clearly work within the eligibility and the avail of the funding. So that's great. Thanks very much.
No worries, Mark. If I could just to get more a bit in the detail, how is an apprenticeship delivered?
Yeah, well, there's a range of delivery models, and what a lot of the colleges would offer would be the traditional model, where it's a course that's enrolled in September and runs through its duration in that academic year, and employees of the business would visit the college for additional learning and skills and knowledge. The important thing to note under the funding is that time at college is part of their directed training is the terminology. So, for example, part of the eligibility criteria is that an apprentice must be employed for a minimum of 21 hours a week. So within that 21 hours, if you have an employee that's on an apprenticeship program as an employed pathway, if they're at a college for 7 hours, that's out of the 21. So essentially you would have them for 14 hours. They'll be in the college for 7, but they still must get paid for the 21. That overarches into the peripatetic model that some of the college partners are offering now, whereas what you actually do yourself, Ryan, whereas it's not so much college centric, but it's out in the workplace with employers doing the assessment and delivery actually on premises to sort of fit more operationally round. And the big differentiation in that is that that's what we would term our roll-on, roll-off provision. So it can start at any time. It helps fit with sort of employers' talent development and workforce planning and succession planning development. So it's really what I would encourage employers to do is speak to their local regional college and see what delivery methods that they're currently doing and have conversations with them. So the key thing for us as colleges and employers is, we're keen to speak, keen to talk, to see how we can best support. But the biggest challenge, and you and I, Ryan, in hospitality have near 30 years experience between us, and I think the biggest challenge would be attracting people into the industry. I suppose that's what apprenticeships can do, that it offers a career pathway, and that's what the funded opportunities for apprenticeships, the colleges are really trying to work on career pathways. So I can come in as a 16-year-old on a level 2 and potentially progress through to a foundation degree on a higher level apprenticeship, all funded by the Department for Economy and all on an employed pathway. So that's a bit about the when, but what I would advise anybody listening in is to really reach out to your local regional college and suppose find the counterparts like Ryan and I and have a conversation with them, or indeed contact through the Belfast Met Hub and colleague Mark Rice. I will put contact details up at the end of the session, or indeed when we're fielding the Q&A after, we can sort of help pass out details then. So tell us a little bit more about who an apprenticeship for. I know you covered earlier on there about the levels, but in terms of an employed pathway and a funded pathway by the Department for Economy, what's the sort of underlying journey of who this is for?
I would relate that to the job roles, Mark. So if you see 16 to 18-year-olds and coming in at a level of glass collecting and waiter, waitress, that type of environment, we can give them a journey of starting at that level, give them the knowledge and skills that they need at that level, and progressing into more sort of leadership roles, and it might be the likes of team leader or supervisor. And the journey then would just continue, and we've seen that with previous learners and previous apprenticeships. They then move into more sort of assistant manager roles, eventually then duty manager, and then from that, that is a real career pathway that they're now on. And to me, it's a no limit to where they can go really from there then.
Yeah, and I think what's great to see is, I know I'm a bit more longer in the tooth than you, but in terms of the opportunities that I would have been able to avail, my employer was very supportive, and I did my NVQ, money, and I went to the college and done qualifications. But to have that as an actual funded career pathway now offered by colleges across the breadth and depth of Northern Ireland it's fantastic. So I suppose it's been challenging times for the sector, and it's really just good to see that to encourage people in. It's nice to sort of say that it's a career pathway aligned to programs that are funded by the Department for Economy. So yeah, great.
Yeah. I just on that, Mark, I suppose with myself, that's a journey that I went on myself in terms of the level 2, level 3 MVQ, and then from that, it then encouraged my employer to invest their own funds in me to go on and do higher levels. So it is a great opening for businesses to start with the funded level, then opens it up in the higher levels themselves.
Yeah, and in terms of the intricacies around the eligibility criteria and the specifics of the funding for the apprenticeships, what I would do is I would just be signposting participants on today's session to visit the websites that I will post at the end of the session, nidirect.gov.uk and nibusinessinfo.co.uk, because really that's where you'll get the most up-to-date information from the Department for Economy on all the nuances of the eligibility criteria and how to access the funding. And really our role as colleges is to try and help you as an employer navigate that. So again, what I would be encouraging you to do is really dig down into that and have conversations with your local colleges who can support you and help you sort of disseminate that information to see how you can avail of the funded opportunities. So that would just leave me to sort of close out the session today and thank everybody for the opportunity to talk to them. And, you know, on behalf of the Hospitality and Tourism Hub with Belfast Met and our college partners across the breadth and depth of Northern Ireland, just thank the Hospitality and Tourism Skills and Invest NI and indeed the Department for Economy for providing the funded support for skills and apprenticeships.